The silence in the hospital room was broken only by the steady hiss of the oxygen machine beside my bed. Each breath I took came with effort, labored, shallow, and painfully slow. I had never imagined this is how I'd spend my 68th birthday. Weak, bedridden, and hooked up to tubes while the son I raised paced around the room like he couldn't wait to escape it. I looked at him. Aaron, my only child. My miracle baby. The boy I'd raised alone after his father died in a car accident when Aaron was just 4 years old. The boy I'd sacrificed everything for. And yet, now he couldn't even meet my eyes. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. "Do you need more water, Mom?" he asked without looking at me, his voice impatient, clipped. I tried to smile. "No, sweetheart. Just having you here is enough." He sighed like I'd asked for the moon. "Okay, because I really need to get going soon. Vivian's parents are throwing some dinner and she wants me to meet more of her dad's friends, political types, important people. I shouldn't be late." I felt a sting in my chest, not just from the pneumonia, but from those words. For weeks, Aaron had barely visited. He was always too busy with campaign events, fundraising galas, media shoots. Vivian, his high-profile fiancée, was a social climber with designer heels and a condescending smile. She never liked me much, and the feeling was mutual, though I never said a word. "I understand," I replied, trying to hide the hurt. "You have a life now. I don't want to be in the way." That's when he said it. "You're not in the way, Mom. You're just kind of a burden right now." He said it so flatly, like he was talking about a dead battery or a broken elevator. Not his mother, lying in a hospital bed with machines keeping her breathing. For a moment, time stopped. I stared at him, heart thudding like it might fail right then. He was already glancing at his phone. No apology, no flinch. He didn't even notice that my eyes had filled with tears. "I didn't mean it like that," he added quickly, noticing my expression but not backtracking. "It's just, this hospital stuff is draining. For everyone. And I can't be everywhere at once. Vivian's family, my campaign, my staff. They all need me. I'm running on fumes, Mom." I wanted to scream. "And what about me? I gave you everything I had." But I said nothing. I nodded slowly, bit the inside of my cheek until it bled, and whispered, "I see." "Glad you get it," he muttered. Then he patted my hand, cold, limp, disinterested. "I'll send someone from the team to check in, maybe get you a private nurse. Don't worry, I've got you covered." He had no idea. No idea that just 2 weeks earlier my financial advisor had called with news. The trust fund I set up for Aaron when he turned 18 had reached $300,000 in interest and growth. Money I'd scraped together through decades of teaching, side gigs, and inheritance from my parents. I had set it up so that he wouldn't struggle, so he could go to college, start a business, maybe buy a home one day. But that day in the hospital, something inside me changed. He saw me as a burden. Then maybe it was time I gave him the freedom he so desperately wanted. From me, from responsibility, from the woman who gave him her whole life. The next morning, when the nurse came in to change my IV, I asked for my phone. With trembling hands and shallow breath, I called my lawyer. "I want to revise the trust," I said, voice raspy but steady. "Immediately." He paused. "All of it?" "All of it." "But he's your son," he said, softening his tone. "Yes," I said, "and that's exactly why it hurts." I didn't just want to remove Aaron. I wanted to do something meaningful with that money, something that would finally feel healing. And that's when I thought of someone else. Someone who used to check in on me from time to time. Someone who, while Aaron was posting selfies with senators, brought me soup when I was sick. Her name was Mara, my late best friend's daughter. And without knowing it, she was about to inherit more than a fortune. It had been 3 weeks since that day in the hospital. I had quietly recovered at home with the help of a private nurse. Not the one Aaron sent, but someone I found myself, with Mara's help. The strength in my legs was returning, my breathing steadier. But more importantly, my heart felt lighter. Because the trust fund no longer had Aaron's name on it. Instead, my lawyer had drawn up the documents to transfer the full amount into a new beneficiary account, one that named Mara as the recipient, set to be released on her 30th birthday. Until then, the fund would help her continue her education, care for her foster siblings, and finish the nonprofit project she'd been working on quietly for years, supporting elderly people without families. The irony didn't escape me. I hadn't told Aaron yet. I wanted to wait for the right moment, and that moment arrived sooner than I thought. He called one afternoon, voice upbeat. "Hey, Mom! I just got some amazing news. I made it into the final round for the Youth Leadership Grant. They're going to request my financials soon to make sure everything's solid, but it's basically a done deal." I could almost hear him grinning through the phone. "I'm proud of you," I said honestly. "That's wonderful." He chuckled. "Well, it helps that I've got that trust fund in my back pocket. Looks good to donors, you know. Shows I've got backing, security." I closed my eyes, breathing slow. "Actually," I said, "we need to talk about that." There was a pause, a long one. "What do you mean?" "I made some changes. I rewrote the beneficiary." The silence stretched. Then came the sharpness I'd heard only once before, on that hospital day. "You rewrote what?" "I removed your name. The money will go to someone else now." He exploded. "What the hell are you talking about? That money's mine. You said it was for my future. I'm your son." "No," I said quietly. "You're a man now. And men don't call their mothers burdens while they're fighting to breathe. Men don't measure love in terms of campaign optics." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I simply ended the call and turned off the phone. It didn't take long for the storm to reach me. Angry texts, voicemails, even a nasty email from Vivian calling me vindictive and jealous. But I didn't respond, because for the first time in years, I wasn't giving anything away. I was taking it back. The fallout from the trust fund decision spread faster than I expected. Aaron didn't just stew in private, he made it public. Within days, I saw passive-aggressive posts on his campaign page, subtle jabs about family betrayal and generational selfishness. Vivian chimed in with cryptic messages like some people would rather leave a legacy of bitterness than generosity. But none of that compared to what happened at the community gala. It was a formal event hosted by one of the local foundations Aaron had been desperately trying to impress. They had chosen to honor young civic leaders and invited donors and families to attend. Aaron, of course, was one of the keynote speakers. I wasn't planning on going until Mara showed up at my door with a formal invitation. "I want you there," she said softly, dressed in a modest black dress she'd borrowed from a neighbor. "You need to see what your choice helped make possible." So I went. The gala was held at a hotel ballroom filled with glittering lights and carefully arranged centerpieces. I wore a navy shawl and sat in the back quietly, unnoticed. Aaron took the stage with his usual charm, thanking the foundation and gesturing toward the VIP section, where Vivian sat beaming. He spoke passionately about his work, his goals, and the importance of carrying the torch for the next generation. And then he made the mistake of acknowledging me. "I want to thank my mother," he said, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on me. "She may not be at my side today, but she's the reason I'm here. She always believed in me. Even created a trust fund when I was younger to support my dreams, a testament to what love can look like." I held his gaze without blinking. Mara stood up slowly beside me. I didn't expect her to speak, but she walked to the microphone without hesitation. "I'd also like to thank someone," she said, and every head in the room turned. "My godmother, the woman who gave me more than anyone else ever has. Not just a trust fund, but time, kindness, faith. I'm proud to say she believed in me when I had nothing, and because of her, the nonprofit I run for elderly support services will launch its first care center next month, fully funded." The audience applauded politely, confused but intrigued. Aaron's smile faded. Mara turned slightly toward him. "And to those who treat family like props, or burdens, may we all learn that love isn't earned by expectation. It's earned by action." The silence that followed was deafening. Aaron didn't finish his speech. He left the stage early, red-faced, muttering something about needing air. Vivian followed behind him, heels clicking in anger. I remained seated. As people slowly returned to mingling, strangers came to my table, quietly thanking me, asking questions about Mara's work, and offering support. No one asked about Aaron again. By the end of the night, I felt something shift inside me. Not pride, not revenge. Peace, because I had finally stopped giving to someone who only took, and started giving to someone who truly understood what it meant to be loved. Aaron's trust fund was gone, but the trust I'd rebuilt, with myself, was worth far more. And for the first time in years, I breathed easy, without the oxygen machine, without the weight of guilt, just me and a future I chose for myself.